Hi everybody, Phil Snyder, GunClassUtah.com with a great video today. Today's lesson is going to be for all my pistol students that have been issued a laser cartridge and want to know how it works and how to remove it from the packaging and to put it in your gun. We're also going to do some dry firing techniques. We're just going to go over clearing the gun safe before we practice. We're going to go through the 4 main rules of gun safety so you can dry fire safely. And so let's get started. This is the laser cartridge. We can order you one of these and mail it to your home through the U.S. mail. Comes in a nice little carry case. This is for a 9mm. Best ones I've had so far. They have extra O-rings in case they wear out. This is the laser cartridge itself. That's the front of it where the laser comes out. And that's the other end where the firing pin or the striker hits it when you pull the trigger. Comes with it are very nice. You've got 3 sets of batteries. There are 3 batteries in each one of these for a total of 9. And what they've really done is we've got an extra end cap. And I can't tell you how valuable these are because the firing pin will usually wear those out after striking them for so long. So I'm going to show you how to install it now. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you're going to take your laser cartridge out like so. And you're going to unscrew this cap. Okay, that's where your battery is going to go in, and there's your little end cap. Remember we showed you earlier that you have a spare? That's what gets worn out, is on that end. So, you're going to take one of your sets of batteries out here. They've really made this nice. They've got 3 watch batteries attached together for a total of 9 batteries. And what you do is, you take these watch batteries, you got that end that looks like that, and then you flip it around, and I don't know if that's the positive or negative side, but it's that side. Not that side with the ridge on it, but it's the other side. That might be the negative side, but I'm not quite sure. Anyway, you drop it into your cartridge, and it looks like that. And then you screw your end cap on. Tighten that down all the way. Now, before we install this cartridge into our gun, we have to clear the pistol to make it safe, okay? What you do is, you're going to draw your gun out of the holster, and you're going to point that gun in a safe direction. Okay? And then you're going to take the magazine out. Push on that magazine release, right there. Magazine's out. And then you're going to cant that gun to the right-hand side. This is forward-facing camera, so it actually is going to show going left. And I'm holding this in my right hand, but its video is going to show it in my left hand. Anyway, you cant that gun to your right, if you're right-handed. And then you rack that slide back 3 times. You saw the round come out of the chamber. And then you lock your slide back by putting that thumb underneath that slide stop, holding that pressure up, locking your slide. And then you're going to inspect your chamber visually with your eyeballs. And it's hard to see into there, okay? But you're going to take a flashlight, and then you're going to inspect that chamber, and you can see that it is clear. You're also can stick your finger in there to see if you can feel around. That's a secondary verification. If you've got an abused gun, be careful, because sometimes that slide will slam forward on you, and so if it's your own gun and you don't abuse it by slamming that slide forward all the time on an empty gun, it's probably okay. So now the gun is safe. So now what we're going to do is, pointing the gun in a safe direction, we're going to take the laser cartridge again with the hole, that's the laser end where the laser comes out, and that's going to go out the front end of the barrel, right? And so what you're going to do is you're going to drop it into that chamber, just like this. See, it's into the chamber now? And then you're going to push that in. And then I'll point it at the camera and I'll push on that laser and you can see that it works now. And when the firing pin hits that, that's what it's going to do. Okay. You're ready to go. So now you're going to drop your slide. And now I am ready to dry fire. When you're gripping the pistol, you want to have your shooting hand, if you're right-handed, which I am, and this is showing in my left again, but the shooting hand, the one that pulls the trigger, your strong hand, some people call it, you're going to be all the way up on this back strap. And then your support hand, you want a nice firm grip on that gun, and you're going to lock that wrist in, and you're going to overlay the support hand fingers over the right, or the firing hand, and that left hand kind of pulls back. And so the support hand side looks like this, and the strong hand, or the trigger hand, looks like this. And so the whole goal of the trigger squeeze, when your gun's pointed in a safe direction, you're going to pull that trigger. And I'll do some target shots here in a minute, and I'll show you where the laser lights up. Leave your finger on the trigger when you're dry firing, and then you're going to have to reset your slide when you're not firing. When you're on the range, you don't have to do this. The slide's automatically going to come back on you. But when you're dry firing, you're going to rack that slide. And then you're going to let that trigger out until you feel that trigger reset. And then pull the trigger again. Keep it depressed. Rack your slide again. Let it out till you feel it click. That's the trigger reset. And then you're going to pull the trigger again. The whole goal when you're dry firing is you want to slowly squeeze that trigger until you feel it break, like that. You don't want to jerk the trigger and move the gun. Here, I'll jerk the gun and show you what it looks like. See how the gun moves? You want to pull that trigger and so that gun doesn't move and you've got good trigger control. When you're done shooting, finger comes off the trigger back down to the low ready. This is low ready and this is retention ready. I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to put a target up. I'm going to show you what it looks like when the laser impacts the target. But before I do that, I'm going to show you how to take your laser cartridge out when you're all done practicing. So when you're all done, you're going to lock your slide back. And then you're going to have to get that laser cartridge out of that chamber. And the way you do that safely, because you don't want to put your hand in front of that muzzle, you're going to get yourself a little, like a 22 caliber little cleaning brush, and you're going to bend it. And I got this at Harbor Freight. Okay? And then you're going to stick that into that front of that chamber. And then you're going to push it out. Just like that. Okay? Now the chamber is clear, right? You can see into that chamber that it is clear now. Once the gun's clear, you're going to drop your slide. And you're going to decock. And then you are going to holster your gun. When you holster, you come straight in with the finger off the trigger. Put that snug in there and you are good to go. Okay, now we're going to do some dry fire drills with the laser in. There's a white paper target on the wall. That's what I'm going to be shooting at. And then I'll show you some drawing techniques after this, but I just want to show you what it looks like on the target. Really good for dry fire, okay? So again, you want to attach with that nice grip. You're going to put that trigger hand on that gun like that. And then you're going to put that support hand over here. And you're going to lock that support hand backwards like that, okay? And that's a pretty good, that's a nice grip on that gun. And you're going to lock those elbows out, okay? So the trigger hand looks like this. And the support hand looks like that. So that support hand, that one that's not pulling the trigger, the support side, you're taking that left hand and you're pulling that wrist back and you're locking that wrist in. So it looks kind of like that. Okay? That's one side. And this is the other side. Okay? When you draw the gun, when you present it, okay, you bring up those sights and you put them in front of your dominant eye. Okay, if you took the pistol course, you know which dominant eye you are. I am on this side dominant, so I'm going to raise up these sights and I'm going to line them up under that dominant side eye on this side. And I'm going to put my sights in the middle with a nice smooth trigger squeeze, and that's what it looks like. Let's shoot the target now. I'm going to go on the top left circle. Feel that trigger reset? The trigger reset makes you a really good shooter. Instead of letting off the trigger and having to re-pull the trigger each time, you got a shorter trigger travel like this, and it makes your follow-up shots a lot better. So that dot, you see how it just kind of lights up? That's a smooth trigger pull. You don't want to jerk it. This is what jerking the trigger looks like. See how that dot moved a few inches? That's jerking the trigger. That's not what you want to do. There's not as much jerking there, but it's still jerking, right? So that's what you want to do. Anyway, that's the laser cartridge dry fire. I'm going to pause the video and then I'm going to show you some pistol drills that you can do in your home to save you range time. Okay, we're back. We're going to do some drawing techniques. First thing is to make a pistol safe. I'm going to go over this one more time. I believe we did earlier. You're going to draw that gun out of that holster with that finger off the trigger. And you're going to cant that to which way? The right. We're going to remove the magazine. I know this shows left. We're on forward-facing camera. And you're going to rack that slide 3 times. And then you're going to lock your slide. Sound familiar? And you're going to check your chamber. Make sure it's clear with a visual with the eyes and a physical verification. That gun is clear now. Once the gun's clear, I'm going to reholster. I'm going to be careful with the finger off that trigger. I'm going to come straight down and I'm going to put it into that holster. Not pointing it at my body or anything like that. So it's a 4-step grip when you go to grip the pistol. This is obviously an outside the waistband holster. You might have a bra holster where you're reaching up and yanking it out if you're a lady, or maybe you got an inside the waistband, but the principles are all the same. So the first stage, step 1 of the draw is You attach to the gun. At the same time, you're putting your support hand on your belly, so it's out of the way. Same time, you're attaching to the grip of the gun, and you're going all the way up that back strap, and that thumb is under that lock on the holster. This is a locking holster. Step 2, I'm coming out, and they used to call this clearing leather in the 90s when I became a cop. We had leather holsters, just enough to clear. Step 3 is you're rocking that elbow to bring that gun towards your threat. Step 4, as you present the gun out, you start to attach this support hand and get in that perfect grip to where you're up on target and your sights are in front of that dominant eye and you're taking a shot. After you can take a shot, come back down to the low ready. 45-degree angle is what it is. No more than a 45-degree angle, but you want it down enough to where you can see that suspect's hands if he's got any weapons in there. And then after that, you're going to scan. You're going to look over your left shoulder, and then you're going to look over your right shoulder. I see no other threats. I'm going to reholster. Show you what this looks like a couple more times. This is how you dry fire. Okay? Step 1. Step 2. Step 3. Rock that gun down towards your threat. And now step 4. I'm presenting that firearm as I'm attaching my support hand for that shot. When you're done firing, you can take your finger off the trigger. Come back down to the low ready and scan. No more threats. Reholster.